It's something else, and I've talked to fellow racers and crew members, and it's something you can't even describe. As you learned when you're there, it's just a feeling. So as far as the feeling goes, you're nervous, you got a pit in your stomach, butterflies, you're amped up, you got adrenaline going. But from the start, I'm priming the injector with some gas to start the car. Lee's got his finger on the trigger. We start the car up. Make sure everything, look over the motor real quick, make sure nothing's leaking. This is behind the water box where we do the burnout through. Looking at Dad, everything is good. Sits there for a second. I'm running out to the water box and finding the center of the groove. And for the most part, he's pretty much lined up there, but I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna bring him forward and direct him just in case a little bit. Bring him up, and as soon as that tire makes a rotation out of the water, he hits the throttle, does a burnout, goes down there. Usually our guy Gary goes down there and backs him up. And what I do from there is I go to the starting line and I find the staging beams, my foot in the beam just to check where it's at, and I'll make a mark in the glue. It's so sticky you can literally just make a mark in it with your foot. Dad will come back. Gary will give him the sign to stop. He'll stop. Lee and Gary will go over and they'll take a throttle stop off, make sure everything is good to go. I'll give Dad the symbol to come forward. Most of the time we're doing dry hops, so I'll do a couple dry hops before it gets to me. And I'm standing right at the beam yet again. He gets close to me, tell him to stop, about a foot away from the beam. Usually what I'll do is I'll look over, whether it's in front of me or behind me, depending on which lane we're in. And I'm gonna see if the other guy's ready just out of courtesy, because most of the time we're racing with our friends. They're ready. I'm gonna bring Dad in to just very close to stop, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make our adjustment on the idle. And we have predetermined that in the pits on our warm-up. I'm gonna pull air bleeds out to adjust the idle up, and then I'm gonna friction the barrel valve to our adjustment to send the car down the track. Once that's done, he's ready to go. I give him a nod, give him a point, and that's it. It's all him in the car. And at that point, when I'm on the line, just me and him with the car, it's, especially at these big races like we were just at in California and in Bowling Green, Kentucky, there's 20, 30,000 people in the stands, and you can't look at them, but you know they're looking at you. And damn, man, it's a feeling like no other. That motor's, 6 inches from you, popping, shooting, spitting flames. Your heart's racing, and you got to perform. And when I'm up there, I know what I'm supposed to do. You don't even think about it; you just do it. The guy across the lane's doing the same thing, and we strive so hard to do that properly and to the nth degree. All the hours we put here in the shop, we just want that car to go straight and make a good pass, but guess what? We got to beat the guy in the other lane. So it's a feeling like no other. And unless you've been, especially with a nitro car, that is, unless you've been on the line or close to it, you can't even describe it. It's like opening a Pandora's box, man. It's something else. You got to be there to experience it. It's the best feeling in the world. It really is. My 5th birthday, I got a little go-kart, and it was a cool bitchin' little 60s yard kart my dad restored for me. Had slicks on it, and man, I drove the hell out of that thing. That was my first little race car. As soon as I was old enough, I was at 8 years old, you could start, now I think you can do it a little younger at 5. But at 8 years old, I got my first junior dragster, and at the house we were living in at the time, had a long driveway, and we would just push down it, and I'd learn how to brake and steer. We started going to Greer Dragway, our local track, at 8 years old, and pretty quickly picked it up, I would say. Had a really fun time doing that in those beginning days. Just learning it, and we didn't win nothing for a long time. There was some really hard running, high quality of competition junior dragsters in our area, just upstate of South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. And So we got our butt whipped pretty good for a while, and eventually started winning, and kind of clicked, and we started doing really well. Got all these trophies up here. I went to, I think, 32 final rounds and won like 26, 27 of them over my career. Had some big victories and some big close to victories at some big races like the Eastern Conference Finals in Bristol for the big NHRA race and all that stuff. So early on, I don't know if I took to it naturally or just engulfed myself in it so much that it became a necessity. Okay, I gotta do this. This is what I do. I gotta get good at it, or I don't want to be a failure, you know, per se. So I would say early on, at 8 years old and that kind of stuff, it was fun, but you're a kid. About 12, 13, we started going faster in the juniors, and it really hit. We started doing well, and that really became, okay, I'm going to win, and I'm going to be better than that kid in the next lane. And so I think that's when I really started to hone in on it. So, it's been 15 years now, and I'm looking forward to doing it in the future, in the next step I have. So
now it appears that we have now the third generation crew chief starting to develop the driver role.
Yeah.
So
so I'm going to be hopping back in the seat. Hopefully next year we'll have my car here's behind me. I got a front engine top fuel car I'll be putting together. I got a lot of parts and pieces from a lot of good people so far. It's a Brewman car. Keith Bergen built it, very nice piece. I'll be putting that together. I'm in the process of putting that together. And we're gonna run Nostalgia Top Fuel on the Heritage circuit against some of the greats out there, man. The original gladiators and kings of the class is Top Fuel. And everybody knows it, and that doesn't take any love away from our Fuel Altered. Fuel Altered is always gonna be in my heart, but I love Top Fuel, man. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna take baby steps. I'm literally gonna be going from a junior dragster to a Top Fuel dragster, which is obviously huge. Like we were talking about earlier, I've got a lot of experience working on the car, warming up the car. I know how it steers. I've been around them for years now, so I know how everything works. So that's gonna give me an advantage of, okay, if I feel a vibration here, it's gonna be this. I'm not just a numb driver hopping in the seat I know nothing about. Again, I think about it every day, hopping in that seat and flipping that switch for the first time and feeling, 4,000 RPM for the first time. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So hopefully in 2023, we'll be making that happen. I grew up going to the drags, man, seeing my dad drive funny cars, fuel altereds. He sold his front engine top fuel car when I was just a baby. So I unfortunately didn't get to experience that in person, but I have very, very fond memories of going to the track, seeing him drive, and then helping crew on cars when I was a little kid. I'd bring my Hot Wheels and get under the tables while guys are working. And just been around it my whole life. And like I said, I've been just very fortunate and thankful for that. And it's become a part of me 100%, to where every single day I'm thinking about what we're doing with the race car or looking at new stuff online or whatever it may be. But I'm a wholehearted 100% drag racer, thankfully, through my father.